There comes a moment in life when loss doesn't knock. It breaks the door down. A moment when everything you trusted, everything you built, everything you called yourself is wiped out in a single breath. No warning, no mercy, just silence, and the terrifying realization that the life you knew is gone forever. This is not a story about history. This is a story about what happens after everything falls apart, when you are too broken to go back, but still breathing enough to move forward. Have you ever woken up one morning and realized that the world you built, brick by painstaking brick, has crumbled into dust? That the people you trusted, the dreams you chased, the very sense of self you clung to, have all vanished in a single, shattering blow. Picture this. You're barely 17, a young warrior hardened by the code of the samurai, standing tall in the ranks of a mighty clan. The air is thick with the metallic tang of blood and the thunderous roar of clashing steel. It's October 1600 on the fog-shrouded plains of Sekigahara, where two colossal armies, 80,000 souls on each side, collide in a frenzy of loyalty, betrayal, and raw ambition. In those 6 brutal hours, everything you know is ripped away. Your comrades fall like autumn leaves, their screams echoing across the mud-churned field. Severed limbs and headless bodies litter the ground, a grotesque tapestry of defeat. Your clan, once a pillar of power, is annihilated. You're forced to flee, heart pounding, through tangled underbrush, hunted like a stray dog by victors who see you as nothing more than a loose end. This wasn't just a battle lost. It was the annihilation of identity. For Miyamoto Musashi, that blood-soaked dawn marked the end of innocence and the birth of something far greater. But here's the twist that grips the soul. That abyss of despair didn't swallow him whole. Instead, it forged him into the greatest samurai Japan has ever known. A man whose legend echoes through centuries, inspiring warriors, thinkers, and everyday survivors alike. Wandering the misty forests and rugged mountains as a masterless ronin, Musashi didn't just survive. He alchemized his pain into a code of 5 unbreakable rules. These weren't airy musings scribbled in a quiet temple. They were hammered out in the forge of unrelenting hardship, tested on the edge of a blade, and proven in the quiet wars we all fight within ourselves. I'm not peddling fluffy affirmations or quick-fix gimmicks here. These are raw, battlefield-honed principles, born from the kind of agony that would break most men. They've pulled people from the brink for over 400 years. CEOs navigating corporate betrayals, artists clawing back from creative droughts, parents rebuilding after unimaginable loss. The first rule defies every instinct you've got about grief. The second strips away illusions with brutal honesty. And the fifth? It's so against the grain that you'll want to dismiss it outright. But once you grasp it, it'll rewrite your reality. Stick with me, because what unfolds in these pages could be the lifeline you've been grasping for in the dark. Before we dive deeper, pause and reflect. How many faces in your circle wear masks of normalcy, hiding fractures that run bone deep? Friends who laugh through gritted teeth, colleagues who numb the void with endless scrolls or empty bottles. If these words resonate, it's because a spark inside you recognizes the ache, not as defeat, but as the raw edge of potential. Admitting the need for change isn't frailty. It's the quiet roar of bravery. So, inhale deeply, let the weight of your burdens settle for a moment, and journey with me. What you'll uncover might just bridge the gap between endless cycles of hurt and the unyielding strength to rise anew. If a teenage outcast could turn medieval apocalypse into mastery, imagine what these rules could unleash in you. Let's transport ourselves back to that fateful October morning in 1600. The Sekigahara Plain stretches out like a vast, unforgiving canvas painted in shades of gray dawn and crimson fury. Musashi, clad in battered armor, grips his katana with hands that have known only the rhythm of drills and discipline. He's no novice. At 17, he's already tasted the sting of minor skirmishes, his clan's honor woven into his very sinews. The air hums with tension, war drums pounding like a frantic heartbeat, banners whipping in the wind, the acrid smoke of gunpowder mingling with the earthy scent of impending rain. Allies and enemies alike charge into the fray, swords flashing like lightning strikes, arrows whistling through the chaos, but fate, that cruel puppeteer, twists the threads. Betrayals ripple through the ranks. Commanders switch sides mid-battle, turning the tide in a cascade of treachery. Musashi fights with feral intensity, his blade a blur as he parries and thrusts, sweat stinging his eyes, the metallic taste of blood on his lips from a glancing wound. Around him, friends he's trained with since childhood are cut down. One brother's eyes wide with shock as a spear pierces his chest, another's final gasp lost in the din. The ground turns to a quagmire of mud and gore, bodies piling like discarded puppets. By midday, it's clear, defeat is inevitable. Musashi's army shatters, 40,000 slain in a single merciless sweep. He bolts into the wilderness, heart hammering against his ribs, evading patrols that bay like hounds on the scent. Escape? It tastes like ash. In the Bushido Code, death with honor trumps a coward's flight. Musashi, now a ronin, a wave man, adrift without master or purpose, wrestles with shame that claws at his gut. Hiding in shadowed groves, foraging for roots and berries, he contemplates seppuku, the ritual blade poised at his belly. But something stirs, a flicker of defiance amid the ruins. What would you do, cornered by such oblivion? Curl into bitterness, drown in sake, or vanish into obscurity? Musashi chose none of these. He forged a path that redefined resilience, starting with the first rule: accept the harsh reality without flinching. This isn't the soft acceptance of resignation. It's a warrior's gaze into the storm. Our minds rebel against devastation. Denial whispers, "This isn't real." Anger roars, "Why me?" Bargaining pleads for rewinds. Musashi, huddled under a dripping canopy, rain mingling with silent tears, stared at his shattered world and uttered, "This is my truth now." What comes next? No futile railing against the heavens, no wallowing in what-ifs. He severed the chains of resistance, channeling that energy into forward motion. Imagine your own inferno. A job evaporates overnight, leaving bills stacking like accusations. A relationship implodes, trust scattered like Sekigahara's fallen. Illness strikes, rewriting your body's script. Resistance drains you, a vampire feasting on vitality. Acceptance? It's the key that unlocks action. Harvard's longitudinal study on trauma survivors, tracking thousands through divorces, bereavements, financial collapses, reveals the swiftest healers aren't the least scarred, but those who pivot quickest to what now? They reclaim agency, turning wreckage into waypoints. Musashi's pivot led him deeper into isolation, but with purpose. He shed illusions of restoration, embracing his Ronin status as a blank slate. Ask yourself, what reality are you denying? A dead-end career? A toxic bond? Acceptance isn't surrender. It's strategy, the first strike in reclaiming your narrative. Without it, you're trapped in loops. With it, doors creak open. Yet, acceptance alone invites temptation's whisper. In the hollow ache of loss, quick fixes beckon like sirens, booze to blur edges, distractions to fill voids. For Ronin in feudal Japan, this meant descending into debauchery, gambling dens where fortunes evaporated in dice rolls, brothels offering fleeting warmth, mercenary gigs that traded honor for coin. Musashi, gaunt from hunger, eyes hollow from sleepless nights haunted by battlefield ghosts, felt the pull. A village tavern's glow promised oblivion. A band of outlaws offered camaraderie in crime. But he turned away, embracing the second rule. Reject weakening pleasures, choosing discipline's forge instead. He transformed into an ascetic warrior, sleeping on frost-kissed earth, subsisting on wild herbs and stream water, wielding his sword from dawn's first blush to twilight's sigh. 8 hours of relentless practice. Forms repeated until muscles screamed. Meditation under cascading waterfalls to temper the mind, scribbling insights on scavenged bark. Each day, he battled inner demons, the lure of ease gnawing like a persistent itch. Science echoes this wisdom. Stanford's neuroimaging research on trauma recovery contrasts self-care indulgences, binge-watching, comfort eating, with disciplined routines. The indulgers? Spiking cortisol, amplified anxiety as the brain senses evasion. The disciplined? Plummeting stress hormones, neural pathways rewired for resilience. Discipline transmutes imposed suffering into chosen growth, like a blacksmith hammering flaws into strength. Picture Musashi under a full moon, body aching from drills, temptation coiling like a serpent. He chooses the path less trodden, a rigorous kata, breath sinking with blade, mind sharpening like steel. The way is in training, he later penned, in small daily victories, rising at cockcrow, forgoing the extra morsel, honing focus amid distraction. It's muscle building for the soul. Initial agony yields unbreakable fortitude. What crutch do you lean on? Social media scrolls numbing discontent, late-night snacks masking loneliness? Cut it and watch power surge. Discipline hurts, but it's the ache of evolution, paving to the third rule. 1612, Ganryu Island's windswept shore. Waves crash like applause for the impending spectacle. Musashi faces Sasaki Kojiro, the demon of the long sword, a virtuoso with flawless technique, lightning reflexes, and a vendetta burning hot. Crowds cluster on boats, bets flying like seagulls. Kojiro paces the sand, sword gleaming, nerves taut from hours of anticipation. Musashi? He arrives 3 hours late, deliberately. While Kojiro fumes, energy dissipating in fury, Musashi carves a crude oar into a bakken, wooden sword, on a serene boat ride. Stepping ashore, he's met with Kojiro's barrage of insults, veins bulging, spittle flying. Musashi remains an island of calm, breath steady, eyes clear, mind a still pond. The clash is swift, 30 seconds of lethal dance. Kojiro's elegant strikes meet Musashi's raw precision. Emotion clouds the demon's judgment, leading to a fatal overreach. Musashi's bakken crushes skull, ending the legend. Why? Third rule: emotions are your enemy. Master them or they master you. Modern lore preaches, follow your heart, but neuroscience begs to differ. Harvard's decade-long study of 2,000 lives shows 87% of regretted choices stem from emotional peaks, rage-fueled arguments, fear-paralyzed opportunities, euphoria-driven gambles. Emotions are survival alarms, not navigators. Fine for fleeing predators, disastrous for life building. Musashi cultivated mushin, no mind, an unperturbed state. He felt the storm but didn't let it steer. His 10-second rule: pause, breathe, let the wave crest and fade. Then query, what would rational me do? It's piloting through turbulence, passengers, emotions, howling, but controls firm. Recall your impulses, that venomous email sent in heat, the purchase born of blues, the silence from dread. Harness this, and freedom blooms. You feel deeply without destruction. Sadness informs, anger signals, fear alerts, but reason commands. What emotion hijacks you? Tame it or remain chained. But even masters falter. In solitary wanderings, Musashi grappled with a subtler foe: self-obsession. Nights replayed Sekigahara's horrors, screams, betrayals, what-ifs looping like a cursed mantra. Loneliness amplified the echo chamber, pain ballooning until it eclipsed all. He broke free with the fourth rule: stop being the universe's center, expand beyond self. He devoured knowledge, philosophy from ancient scrolls, poetry under starlit skies, architecture and temple designs. He painted landscapes with ink-dipped brushes, sculpted wood into fluid forms, conversed with scholars, farmers, artisans across Japan's tapestry. This dilation diminished pain's grip, granting perspective. Michigan's brain scans affirm, rumination activates depression circuits, diverse learning forges new paths, dimming agony's glow. Musashi's ritual: 1 hour daily on unrelated pursuits, mathematics amid grief, nature observation and anxiety. It shattered loops, connecting to vastness. Your suffering? A speck in humanity's mosaic. 8 billion stories, eons of wisdom. Expand and hope ignites. Others endured, triumphed. Resources surface, mind unlocking hidden chambers. Musashi's eclecticism made him invincible. Opponents predicted fighters. He was artist, thinker, enigma. When did you last chase curiosity unrelated to woes? Stagnation breeds despair. Expansion, solutions. Finally, acclaim crowned Musashi. 60 duels won. The Book of 5 Rings, etched in eternity. Yet, in a disciple's letter, he confessed envy as his stealthiest adversary. Glimpsing intact clans, envy poisoned. Why them, not me? He countered with the 5th rule: wield gratitude strategically, not superficially. He cataloged assets: breath in lungs, limbs unbowed, freedom's wild call, hard-won wisdom. Specifics anchored it: grateful for a technique mastered, body's endurance and toil. UC's trauma study: gratitude group rewired brains, amygdala quieted, prefrontal ignited, dopamine flowing. Ritual: nightly trio of precise thanks, reprogramming focus from lack to abundance. In duels, gratitude armored him, alive, skilled, tested. It bred abundance mindset, sharper choices. Envy? Scarcity's snare, spiraling downfall. Do you dwell on voids or gifts? Shift and cycles virtue. But Musashi hit a 6th insight: eschew resurrection of the old self. Crisis killed the boy. He birthed a sage. Pain as catalyst. Sekigahara's forge yielding legend. Your fractures? Perhaps liberation from mediocrity. Growth demands pressure. Ease breeds complacency. These rules: map to transcendence. Challenge. Build anew. Courage awaits. Transformation beckons. Which rule resonates? Apply one today. Action births rebirth.